Mark Twain was born, and at the same time, Halley's Comet zoomed across the sky. 75 years later, Halley returns and Twain, poof, gone. Right on time, not a minute off, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, the two brains behind America's birth also, decided to log off from the light server on the same day. What day was that? Not a coincidence. It was exactly the 4th of July, 50 years after they signed the Declaration. So they formed a country, counted down exactly half a century, then went by, bro, and here's more. A sailor named Richard Parker got eaten by a tiger in the middle of the ocean. The catch, Edgar Allan Poe had written about this exact thing in a novel 46 years earlier. The victim's name, the circumstances, hunger, companion spot on. Almost like a copy-paste from the future. Do you think this is a coincidence? Or is the universe just buffering the timeline, with history stuck in some cosmic loop? Time may not be running straight. It might just be coiling back on itself like a snake biting its own tail, or like that charging cable you stuffed in your pocket back in 2017. And us? We might just be living in a video, looping so much that even the universe is starting to feel deja vu. What do you think time is? An arrow, a clock? An endless pile of deadlines? Not really. According to Einstein, time is like a super thin slice of pizza and the universe can fold it up like a pizza box. More specifically, if you stand near something ridiculously heavy like a black hole, time around you will slow down. Yep, near a black hole, you'll feel like you're waiting for YouTube to load in a limestone cave with 1 bar of signal. Similarly, if you travel super fast like almost the speed of light, time for you will slow down too. You take a 5-minute space trip, come back, and boom, your friends have married, had kids, raised cats, and changed the Netflix password. And then there's something that sounds like Doctor Strange's broken toy, closed time like curve, meaning time loops back on itself like a toddler's training wheel. If you go in there, theoretically, you could meet yourself from this morning before you brushed your teeth. Not recommended to talk to that version of yourself, might be hard to breathe. There's also this thing called a wormhole, a shortcut in the universe. You dive in one side and poof, you pop out at a different time, kind of like jumping from Monday's math class straight to Christmas Eve 2050. But there's a tiny problem. Doing these things takes energy equal to a fridge full of 100 million suns. In other words, unless you're hiding a black hole in your pocket, you're still stuck waiting for recess like everyone else. In short, time's not a 12-inch ruler. It's more like physics slime. You can squish, stretch, bend, even twist it into loops if you've got the right tools. Humans see time as straight because our brains like stories with a beginning, middle, and end, but the universe, it prefers to write stories like plot twist, then rewind to the first episode, but the characters can't remember a thing. Imagine if time could loop, like a music track set to repeat mode and no one bothered to hit stop. Then those strange, coincidental events you thought were random, like Twain and Halley, 3 US presidents all logging out on Independence Day, or Poe predicting Richard Parker getting eaten by a tiger, might not just be lucky dice rolls. They could be markers, anchor points, milestones, like those kilometer posts on the side of the time highway. Every time the universe runs its program, it pings one of those. Convinced yet? Let me sprinkle in a little more science. According to thermodynamics, time has direction because the universe is increasing in disorder. This is called entropy. In other words, time only goes one way, because your sandwich can't just magically reassemble itself after it falls on the floor. But at the quantum level, physics doesn't care whether you're going forward or backward. They're called time symmetries, meaning if you rewound the universe super slowly, like in slow-mo 0.0001x, you wouldn't be able to tell before from after. It's like watching a cat knock over a glass of water, but you can't tell if it dropped the glass or picked it back up. So if time has no direction at the quantum level, maybe the universe is looping, but we just don't notice because our brains can only process play forward. It's not that history repeats itself, it's that we're stuck in a cosmic video clip with the replay button pressed from a past life. Now, let's look up at the entire universe. It started with a big bang boom. Everything exploded from a tiny point, as if someone accidentally opened a cosmic snack pack in a vacuum. And after billions of years of explosions, expansion, evaporation, and cooling, what happens next? Maybe the universe doesn't end, maybe it contracts. Then explodes again, then contracts, over and over like the only hit song of an artist with just one track. Physicists call this cyclic universe, or big bounce. Each time the universe contracts to a super dense point, boom, it big bangs again, a full universe reboot. So if you've loved the wrong person 7 times, don't worry, maybe you've loved the wrong person in 7 different universe versions. The big question is, if entropy, disorder, keeps increasing, how can the universe reset its loop? Some scientists think at the end of each cycle, entropy is wiped clean, like a hard drive format, to prepare for a new, fresh, beautiful universe, smelling like a new beginning. Maybe you and I sitting here have had a different version of ourselves, telling the same story, but billions and billions of Big Bangs ago. Maybe the universe doesn't repeat the same way, but it always remembers how to begin. Just like how we can hum the intro to our favorite song. Even if we've forgotten the lyrics after that dot asterisk, we tend to think of time as a flowing river. Moving from the past gives present gives future. Sounds right, because clocks just keep ticking. The quantum physics shrugs and says, actually, time might not even exist. According to many modern theories, time isn't as fundamental as you think. It might just be a side effect, a byproduct of the relationships between fundamental particles in the universe. Like, you can't see time, but it shows up when particles start, well, causing drama with each other. One theory called loop quantum gravity suggests that time isn't smooth, isn't continuous, but is woven from tiny little units, like pixels, as if the universe is rendering time in pixels. In other words, time might not flow, but flicker like energy-saving LED lights. And if that's true, then maybe we're not living in a timeline, but stuck in one of its standing waves. A cosmic oscillation stuck on repeat, like a glitchy background track during the chorus. Time might not be the thing that takes you somewhere, it might just be the illusion that you're moving. So if time isn't really flowing, if history is just a bunch of markers in a looping cosmic song, and if everything you're living through has already happened, but you forget because you always think it's the first time, you think you're heading toward the future, but maybe you're just passing through the same moment, slowly, a million times. Like when you stand in an elevator and the mirror reflects you endlessly, maybe time is reflecting you through infinite other universes. The question is, which version of you are you living in right now? Comment below if you could break free from the loop. What would you do differently this time? Or if this is the 999th time you've heard this question, what did you choose the other 998 times?